Hello my people, welcome to another day of stories. If you are new to the channel, please click the subscribe button. Then ring that bell, Quasimodo style. Click the like button, thumbs up is thumbs up. Everybody at this channel likes thumbs up. And so you should also like thumbs up because you're part of the clan. You're in this family now. I want to clarify something right out of the gate so everybody knows all my stories are always meant for only humor. Every time that I tell a story, it is meant only to make you guys smile. So I hope you guys like the story today. Let's roll. When I was telling the story last week and I mentioned that my mother came into my room with a wooden spoon ready to hand out discipline for the damage I had caused to the windows, it made me remember another story that's even better. My mom is amazing and fantastic and was never afraid to make sure discipline was handed out in order to make sure that her children behaved like respectable human beings and not little punks that people wanted to just pop upside the head. She would do that for them. If you stepped out of line, and it worked. We didn't step out of line very much, but sometimes we did. And that's kind of what today's about. One time the carpets in our house had been cleaned, or maybe, I don't know, for whatever reason we couldn't stay in our home, and so we had to go over to Grandma's house, and that was fantastic. We loved Grandma's house. We were there all the time after school, hanging out. It was one of our favorite places on the planet. And so we're over there, we're hanging out with Grandma and Grandpa, and Mom says it's time to go to bed. Now we don't like bed. Like a lot of children out there, we found excuses to delay bedtime. We could have been on the crumbling edge of sleep, and yet we would fight to stay awake no matter what, because you never knew what was going to come about or be or exist. You never knew. You might miss something very important, and so there was no need for sleeping. But Mom disagreed, and I understand it now. I am totally kidding. My kids are just... they're my favorite. They are so awesome. We said our good nights and we went and we shared a bed at Grandma's house. And it was one of those wonderful little hideaway bed things from a couch, folded out, and it's just massively uncomfortable. Bar just sticks right in your back and you wake up feeling like you have scoliosis. Mr. Hideaway, you are awful. What you created caused back pain in countless millions of people. If I could, I would kick you in the gizzard. I'm not even 100% sure what a gizzard is, but I would do it. My mother turned off the light and said, "Go to bed, boys," and we began our normal when we had to share a room. And that was to discuss the events of the time and the culture and what we felt about magic and video games, and then what sports we liked, and then also if there was something else that we could do that would be more fun in a game type situation. And it began like every other conversation begins between me and my brother, and that was just simple and plain and quiet. And then we would kind of laugh every once in a while, and then it kind of got to the point where when your sibling starts to get on your nerves just a little bit, you know, it's never your fault. You were never doing anything wrong. I was never doing anything wrong. Were you ever doing anything wrong? I don't think we were. I think I was always in the mindset of truth and justice. I was never antagonistic-ish. You would just be sitting there and all of a sudden you're irritated and why are you touching me? Stop touching me. Don't do, and then the striking would begin, or maybe the shoving sometimes, or perhaps my brother, every once in a while, he'd bite me. Yeah, it was really intense. I hate, it was awful. It was really the worst thing ever. So this one time, my brother was just being a real brother, you know, getting on my nerves, but he didn't actually do anything to me, and I was so mad at him. So I bit myself, and I just clamped down, and I just waited until I knew there'd be a bite print in me, and then I went to my mom. Thing is when I was a little kid, I had to have my teeth capped. Something about like I wouldn't let go of my bottle when I was a baby. But because my teeth were capped, they were very different than other teeth. When my mom looked at this bite print on my arm, she recognized that it was in fact my own bite print. That day also brought its own special brand of discipline, and I definitely never did that again. Painful memories. And then all of a sudden we heard the stomp. You know the stomp. It's when Mom hears you and is now coming down the hall, not quietly or in any stealth mode. She is coming as an envoy from the land of destruction, informing you that if you don't shut up, you will face this land of destruction. Sorry, Mom. She delivers her message and leaves. We decide, okay, let's just talk a little quieter. But let's still talk though. And so we begin discussing other things, and then eventually he just started to, he did it again. I don't get what is wrong with siblings, why they just can't be normal and not antagonistic, right? Right? Our laughing and carrying on begins to awaken the anger that exists in my mom. And to be fair, it was a reasonable anger. She'd worked all day, she was tired, she told us to go to bed, and we weren't listening. And I would just like to say this little disclaimer, we always pushed mom too far. We always kept pushing right up until the point where there was going to be havoc and destruction, as was the case this night. Once again, we hear the stomp and fear grips us. I look at my brother close in the eyes. Little brother, heed my words quickly, for our time is short. If you chance a hope to survive the destruction, pretend like you are asleep. Now, quickly. She doesn't even bother with the doorknob. She just kicks it open like she's training a SWAT team, walks up to the bed and rips the covers off. All of a sudden, I am keenly aware that I am sleeping closest to the wall and my brother is closest to the door. And I barely begin to squint. I know that there are horrors beyond measure happening, and yet I have to look. I can't not peek. I gotta peek. I have to see it. I crack my eyes open and barely see this. I'm not even sure it was my mother. For all I know, it was a cave troll because it was carrying a cudgel. It was large, nothing but a silhouette. It reaches down and grabs my brother by the leg and just lifts him up, and then just wham! It turns out that it was in fact my mother, and that the cudgel she wielded was a wooden spoon, but she wielded it like a battle axe. All of a sudden, my brother falls to the bed whimpering, and there's silence. She had no idea. Though I walk, or in this case sleep, through the valley of the shadow of death, I will not fear the wooden spoon. I am the actor of the century. She had no idea that I was actually awake. She had no idea that I was perceiving what was happening in the situation. Foolish brother. Turns out, she had an idea. It was just her cudgel had broken on my brother, so she went to get another one. This one forged in steel. She comes back in and proceeds to also deliver destruction to my backside with a metal spoon. And after that, all mom had to say was go to sleep. The next morning at breakfast, my grandfather, knowing that we had endured the fires of Mount Doom, woke up early and went and got cinnamon rolls. It was a pretty good day. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. Have a fantastic week. I would call your sibling this week and tell them, 1, to subscribe to the channel, but 2, you know what? It was always your fault. It was always your fault. Have a great week, guys. And as always, keep telling stories.